Hi.
Ah, hello Seeker. Can I interest you in some solid metal? It's especially shiny today.
Leah.
Ah, you're the assistant from Rookie Harbor. Alright then, let me explain the deal. We can deliver some advanced metalworking tools to Rookie Harbor, but only if you bring us certain spare parts. They are expensive to produce these days, but there should still be some built into certain machines in the mine.
Oh.
The word on the street is that there's one in some room that harbors the power of heat, whatever that means. In any case, maybe you can find one there, so we can bring this deal to a close. Good luck!
Hi.
Okay, room that harbors heat in Temple Mine. Well, in we go.
Wait, so we're going all the way back into the dungeon?
Yeah, looks like it. I mean, unless you have any objections. We could leave this for after the raid.
That's,
Okay, so we want
Are
to...
we racing her again, or is it just, she's gonna... It's instanced.
Yeah.
So
we're looking for the room that harbors fire.
it'd be a furnace of some sort. Storage, frozen chamber, abandoned chamber.
Chamber of fire. Very bottom.
Okay.
Makes it easier. Oh. Yep. There we go. Wonder should pick up some durians. Probably should. Could probably use them. Okay, so we're looking for... Oh, right.
I think you're not in the chamber of fire quite yet.
This is a chamber of fire.
That's the chamber of fire. It looks pretty frosty to me.
We're looking for some kind of...
This doesn't really seem to have the machinery, though.
It wasn't the very bottom. Oh, I'm in the infested chamber.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh.
That's...
It was U3, not U... I screwed up.
You're in the wrong chamber.
Yeah.
Or wrong level. Okay.
I'm only... Yeah,
But yeah, there is that weird uncanny valley with
Oh, yeah.
animation.
Whereas, like...
Sort of like how there are those animatronic robot people.
Yeah.
And how
Ugh.
they're
Yeah,
haven't
they're
been
creepy.
capable of making one that looks good.
But no, there's kind of a reason why people, I want to say, more fondly remember, there's a reason why people almost more fondly remember, like, a lot of the games from the SNES era. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, there was something, oh, right. I'm killing all the bugs. Okay. I'm waiting for this guy to make himself available so I can smack him.
Now, another thing, too, with the whole stylization thing. The reason why animated shows and cartoons and comics
I'm a moron.
specifically have a lot of stylization that simplifies, say, character faces and anatomy and whatnot is because the less specific you make someone's personal appearance, the more relatable that they are. So when you have a more cartoonish face, it's easier to identify with. That's why some of the most basic comics, you know, they just have circles for eyes and maybe no nose and just a line for a mouth, but they can still emote really well and people can still really enjoy that. It's because it's sort of akin to the hero that doesn't have a voice of their own or a personality of their own, the silent protagonist. It's so that, in a sense, the reader, the author, not the reader, not the author, sorry. The reader, the player, and the viewer can sort of self-impose.
Yeah. Well, that's super common in RPGs.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of hate that.
Yeah,
Like,
it's one of the things if it's a character that you create for yourself versus a character that is their own person in the universe. So, if, for instance, I never quite understood why Link never spoke. I mean, I grew up loving all the Legend of Zelda games and whatnot, but it was one of those things where it's like, at some point, Link is a very defined character. He's not an analogous to the player necessarily. He's always this sort of destined legendary hero, or a person that's been reincarnated into the role. Whereas in MMOs and such, it makes sense that you're the silent protagonist because
it'd be too hard to do it any other way.
Yeah, because you would have so many different races and personalities and things to cover.
I kind of hate this guy.
But you can sort of fill in the gaps yourself. And you also design the character. It's very different when you design your character as opposed to when a character is pre-made for you.
Yeah.
But then there's games like Mass Effect where Shepard is a very defined character, and yes, you can determine what their personality will be like in the end, but a lot of their path was somewhat set.
Well, okay, that does a ton of damage.
Now, in the case of Knights of the Old Republic, the player character that you have, I don't want to do any spoilers, but you're a blank slate because of, in part, you just don't really have a defined sense of what your past is. Amnesia, woo! But that way you get to create the narrative for yourself. And in those games, you have a lot of choice as well. BioWare games. Things are less on track.
Okay.
Don't forget Dragon Age. I haven't played Dragon Age. I haven't played... As much as I loved reading about Mass Effect, and I never actually got around to really playing it with myself. I think it was because my computer at the time was a split OS Mac that you had been able to set up for me. And my parents' computer was too old, and I was like, I so desperately wanted to play Mass Effect because I love sci-fi. But no, I only played a little bit of Mass Effect 1, and then I saw Wander play through all of Mass Effect 3. And
we were decidedly unimpressed.
Yeah, and I remember being really hyped for Mass Effect 2. But it was one of those things where what intrigued me about it was your save mattered, and you could port it from one game to the next game to the next game. In Knights of the Old Republic and Knights of the Old Republic 2, you were playing completely separate characters. There were completely separate outcomes. You know what I mean? Like, not sure there were recurring characters, but your decisions from the first game didn't really matter in the second. I think there were one or two dialogue options where you could sort of establish whether or not something had occurred in the previous game as this is what my recollection of the history was, and that sort of changed what was in the narrative, but not much. Whereas in the Mass Effect series, yeah, you're who lived, who died, all of your side quests, the outcomes of those mattered. And I found that really intriguing. Now, Dragon Age, I'd probably seen the beginning of Dragon Age Origins 5 or 6 times over because my roommate's friends had the game and they decided to make characters for the whole trio of them. And they each had, a different race class combination and such. So I got to see the beginning levels of each game. I think specifically like the mages and the elves, like the city elves, I think they called them. Yeah, the city elves, and maybe the beginning of one of the dwarf storylines.
I just didn't like it because everything was just so bleak.
Yeah, that's the thing. One reason why Mass Effect and Dragon Age didn't really appeal to me as much as other RPGs is because they were going... I actually remember all the commercials for Dragon Age Origins, or Dragon Age being blood, 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 get bloody. Fight monsters and get covered in blood.
That was weird.
It was just like, wow, that's the feature that you're focusing on in this, you know, in-depth interactive adventure with all of these consequences for, you know, your personal decisions. It's just the blood. I suppose they wanted the realism of having your character get grubbier and grubbier as time went on.
The idea of that was cool. I just didn't care too much for the execution. It's like, there were some times where you just, like, fight one thing, and that'd be enough.
I think, once again, it was also going really heavily with, like, the realism and stuff. But then again, Mass Effect and Dragon Age were both really attempting to be realistic.
Growing pains, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Which makes me really excited to see what BioWare does next, but it's Anthem, right?
Which could either be really fun for us or really boring.
Got to see. Hi!
Hello, Seeker. You have the parts we need?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, yes, those seem perfect. Good job. That'll be more than enough for an nicely advanced metal oven. We will handle the rest. You can report back to the CTC in Rookie Harbor to get your reward.
Mm-hmm. Bye!
Alright. Go back here. Can't warp there. Oh. Oh, right. We know about that one. Let's see. I hope Anthem is good. It looks really cool. I hope so too, because I think it'll maybe force Destiny to try a little bit harder.
I'm just interested in the multiplayer aspect of a BioWare game, because we tried to have that experience with the Old Republic, and it only ever really felt like we were working together as a team.
Like once?
Once, when there was a mission where you're on a ship going between worlds and you're under attack. It did this interesting system where it would alternate between one character and another character and another character depending on like the conversation, and then it was each character got to sort of in turn have an opinion or have a say with the NPCs. But I'm really hoping that with this new game that I don't know if it's going to be one of those things where, let's go say you have two people playing together and, you know, they're meeting with their contact and the contact is describing to them the quest. And let's go say it's about slaying a monster. And I would like it if they gave each person the opportunity to talk, but depending on how you choose to act or react, like let's go say that your character, you're sort of playing him as a sort of self-centered, slimy individual, and he's like a monster, you know, why do we have to risk our necks to slay that thing? And then they did
say they were gonna try and do that.
Yeah, and then my character would retort with a, you know, but we have to help the neighboring village. You know, they'll be left exposed without our assistance. And then the dude can react and be like, nah, I understand that it's dangerous.
I just want it to be fun, you know, and not be too grindy.
Oh, no, that's true. But I would love it if working together as a team, you each, maybe if you could even get reputation differently depending on how you treat people. And because I always felt like in other RPGs, if you were playing with a group, everyone's decisions were tied together and they wouldn't be seen as individuals. You would just be seen as an amalgamation. Mm-hmm. It'd be interesting if NPCs could discern how they treat like one player character versus another player character depending on how they've been treated by those individual player characters.
Yeah.
But that would get really complex.
Yeah, I think we're about 10 years off of that kind of design.
Hi.
Seeker, welcome back. The necessary tools have already arrived, and they work splendidly. From now on, we'll be able to trade higher quality metal directly in Rookie Harbor. You've been a great help. Nomsworth really deserves a pat on the back for picking you. And you will also get your reward, of course. We should stay in contact for future deals.
Bye.
Alright. EXP and stuff. A lot of money.
So is this the capitalist guild? Or like
Yeah,
the mercenary
it
one?
is.
Have you been helping the others?
Working on it. So, points of power. Pioneer Deggart at the landmark of village remains in Autumn's Fall. Collect old wood, honey, and apples. We gotta go to the jungle for some of those. And, Densewater Caverns on secluded path in the northeast of Autumn's Fall. Which, I don't know if we can get to that yet. Because I don't think we can... Yeah, we can't go out here yet. Or maybe we can. Get into this one. Down over here. Oh, right. Well, one way or another, we can go to this. Oh.
Yeah, that's the way to Guy's Garden.
Yeah, they're just telling us
go to there
we gotta go to the raid.
Yeah, they need to go to the raid.
Okay, so secluded path. Oh, secluded path. Northeast. Oh, I'm brain dumb. Looks like there's an area down to the southwest that we haven't been to yet either. So yeah, apparently they're adding post-game content to this game. If we're lucky, we'll actually be done with the game by the time the post-game content comes out, so we can actually play it. I'm not entirely sure if we'll make it, though. It'll be tough. This is a long game. For those of you that have already played this, you wanna chime in how far we are?
I mean, we already have 2 of the elements, and we're getting another 2. Aren't there only 6 total? Or are there more?
No, there's only 4.
Really? There's only 4? Oh, so Trani, how unrealistic is this rock in particular?
I'm not that much of an expert when it comes to rocks, honestly. I suppose it's somewhat plausible. These shapes can form with erosion over time. Though, not sure why you'd find ancient ruins on the top of it all places.
Thanks for the input, Professor.
So we're about 40% of the way through. And this is episode... This is getting close to level...
40.
Episode 40. Yeah, this is going to be a 100-episode series easy.
I'm definitely like Citron. When I explore fantasy worlds in games, I look at the flora and the fauna and the rocks and other things and I go,
And I'm always just like, eh. Looks nice. Moving on.
And we run into a civilization and I go, I wonder how they came about creating these customs. Was it derived from this or just like...
Meh. Okay, so 10 chapters in the game. Let's see. Do we always do duet voice acting, first time viewer? It varies a little bit.
It depends on the series.
Yeah, so if it's something that Shell's interested in, yes, absolutely. If she's not that interested, then it's just me. But yes, we're the only 2 people on this channel. And when we can, we like to do duets. Duo? I don't know.
Duets? That's an interesting way
I'm
to
using
put it.
their word, but I mean it works.
Yeah.
Sure, we're not necessarily singing, but
It helps because we can cover all the characters for our particular gender, except for when you want to do the really old lady voice, or when I do a Yoda voice, or something else.
Every once in a while, we'll like snag a role from the other, usually because it's funny. That's it for me, at least.
Hi.
A seeker. Ah, you were sent to help me with the operation, I suppose. I see. Good, good. Almost got worried. I would need a tent if assistance took any longer. Hey, I really need some sleep. Spent all day surveying the area and calibrating our probe here. Yep. This work of wonder was fed the data from the Hillcat Leader's device. Oh, it's Deggart. I forgot what Deggart's voice is. Well, his voice changes. We can use it to extract energy and data from ancient power spots directly on the track. And this area has quite a few of those, which is ideal for proper test run to gather data. Well, I should just explain how to operate it, so we can finally get this over with and I can get back to bed. Simply put, you need to push this device around and move to the power spots that appear in the area. You can move it by attacking. Using heat will greatly increase the distance and velocity. Approaching a power spot will usually attract some hostile wildlife that will attempt to protect it.
Ah.
Worse, the power spots will grant them a shield that's almost impenetrable. Invincible angry critters. Yes, exactly, but luckily for you, you've got a probe here. When placed on an active power spot, it'll sap away the energy and deactivate the shield.
Oh.
Just make sure it doesn't get knocked away. Hitting it with cold will stabilize it for a bit, which should help. And that's it. Surely an experienced seeker can figure it out, right? Good. Talk to me when you're ready and prepared. Okay, ready to do this. Alright, so we just gotta find the thing. Everything's running. The first spot of the power should appear in a second. Oh good, so we know where it is. Ah, there it is. Knock our device to that platform, and then defeat all the enemies in the area to proceed.
Oh.
Just repeat that procedure with every new power spot that pops up. Then we can go on. Okay, so fire.
Ah, so it's like a little top. Uh-oh. Critters! Connected to power. Stable.
Oh. They're not shielded right now.
So it's good to take them out.
There we go.
Inspecting probe. Disconnected from power.
Okay.
Well, it's a good thing it has a little hover ring. Oh, they have shields.
That's fine. Oh.
Now, was it that they had shields until you put the probe into place?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. Connected to power. Stable.
Okay. That didn't work.
Woo, that was quite an explosion.
There we go. Now I actually do some damage. It feels better. Yeah, I actually do like 400 damage as opposed to like smidgels. Stupid mole.
Yep, wearing headphones.
Monty Mole would be disappointed in you. Ah! Actually, no, Monty Mole would be proud. Let's see.
Would be.
What would be our classes in an MMO? I mean, I usually go for like tank paladin characters. Oops.
I like magic users, but I also wouldn't mind if they had some melee abilities.
You're a spell sword.
I like spell swords or spell blades, assassins. Though I also like it when there are summons and pets involved. So I don't know if that would necessarily be like summoner, magic ranger, shaman-ish. Not quite like shapeshifter druidy, but druid stuff as well. I also really like things that use like telekinesis and mind-bending powers and magic of that sort.
There we go.
But yeah,
nope,
Wander is definitely the tank.
Yeah. Well, I'm not always, but I usually am.
He's usually the tank. He's
Part
usually
of it is, so,
heavy armor, heavy hitting attacks.
I hate playing games. I hate playing games in such a way that like, if I have to play alone, I'm like
vulnerable,
super vulnerable, and probably going to die. I've done that a couple of times, and it's not really pleasant. Trying to solo as a mage. The first time I ever played an MMO, I actually was I was a mage.
Like just a glass cannon.
Yep, I was a gnome mage, World of Warcraft.
Oh really? That was your first character?
Yeah, first character, Cogs.
Why a gnome? Also, Cogs is a good name. I hope you kept it.
Yeah, he still exists. I doubt I'll ever play him again, but I was proud of the character and I liked him. But that was vanilla WoW, which like Vanilla WoW, not friendly.
Well,
especially
also
to solo wizards.
People are desiring that experience so much, they're bringing it back.
Yeah, a number of servers are actually doing that. Apparently, Lord of the Rings Online is doing a progression server, where effectively it's a server that starts.
What, everyone starts at the same level or something? It's like a reboot, or what?
Yeah, it's a reboot of the game as it was. And every couple of months, they're going to update the they're going to update, like, adding the next expansion or major update or whatever, kind of to recreate that feeling of progression. Right,
because when someone comes into a game 5 years too late, they always feel at a disadvantage because there's all these high-level players running around, and they don't get to experience something being released for the first time, and always feel like they're dragging behind.
Well, my scanners show that you've harvested all the power spots. Thorough work, I suppose. Shame, we're not quite done yet. Just a moment ago, I spotted a high concentration of energy just south of us. Yeah, seems like the track doesn't want me to get my overdue sleep. In any case, we need to handle all that as well. The data we can extract there could be too valuable to ignore. Follow me south so we can get this over with.
Remote control activated. Oh. It's already there, and he already has the quest.
So it's probably a boss fight.
Hi.
Great. There you are again. About time we finished this task, I'd say. Yep, boss fight. We still haven't figured out what's up with the weird square things.
It is a square.
This time, all the energy signals can be found around that lonely tree there. Weird coincidence that, considering there's nothing really special about the tree itself.
What, aside from its cube-like shape? What?
People here are cube blind. Remember, this is a 2D game. 3D objects confuse and upset them, so they just pretend they don't exist. Though it seems to be rather unstable and fluctuating this time. We should keep an eye on that. In any case, knocking our probe into the power spots as before, and clearing hostiles should do the trick. I'm ready whenever you are. Just give me the signal, Seeker. Oh. Let's finish this up. Probe was booted. Prepare for the first point to appear.
Expecting probe.
Alright. Just like before, knock our device onto the power spot, and then defeat all the enemies that might appear. Just remember what I told you about the unstable energy fluctuation. Be prepared to readjust the probe during operation in case power spots move around.
Oh, so now they're gonna have something move mid-combat?
Sure.
Connected to power. Yep, it's definitely the moles.
For now. Shooty, shooty. There we go.
I wonder if you're still gonna have players running around, or if they're barred from the area as well. They probably wouldn't have that, then it would prevent people from progressing.
Okay. Fire! Okay. Yeah, they didn't even change the sprites on these guys. Ow. Power spot unstable. Stable. Oh no, it's moved. Ah. Stable. Right. Okay. I'm just gonna switch to range combat for this one. It's interesting how they kind of
the probe.
Yep. It's interesting how they kind of mixed range combat and melee into this game rather well. You know, usually in a game, one or the other is, like, vastly superior. I generally go melee just because it's simpler. And I don't have to worry about aiming. But now that my hand's recovering, it's a little easier for me to actually snipe stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like you're done. Everything clear, for real this time, finally.
Huh.
I'm gonna skip further fanfare. Our probe needs to get back to HQ and I need sleep. Back to our leader for rewards. You know the drill. Now, excuse me, I gotta get going.
Bye. Remote control activated. Report back to Forerunner Alenia.
Oh, I'm here. Oh. So we're back down in Autumn's Fall, actually.
Oh, this does
Or
look like Autumn's
Rise.
Fall. Autumn's Rise, I see.
Yeah, sorry. I was wondering about this. Yeah. So those are the old enemies and all the old plants and things that we don't need, which means we can finally go through this gate. Yay.